Hey guys, I'm Levi Webb, and on this channel, we are building a portfolio of real estate from scratch. And today, I'm going to be talking about a very important part, at least to me, that is the buy box. I'm going to show you, if I have time, how I built my buy box and how I decided what needs to go in my buy box. So I recorded this once and the sound was terrible. So here I go again. Hopefully it's better this time. I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Good. So first of all, let's talk about what a buy box is. Buy box is just the portion of the real estate market that I am an expert at. So that's my buy box. It's the part where I am the foremost expert. There's a lot of real estate all across the United States and the world, and I can't buy it all. Wish I could. Can't buy it all. So I need to pick a market, and within that market, there's going to be single family homes and apartments and multifamily homes and commercial properties and fixers and all sorts of things. I can't buy them all. I can't be an expert in them all. So I need to decide what is the best lane to be in? What is the real estate that I need to look at so that I can ignore all the other things? So I've already selected the Lubbock market. Go back and see my other videos as to why I've selected Lubbock, Texas to start building this real estate portfolio. Um, and so the best place to start is head over to Redfin. You, you can use Zillow, but I use Redfin for a reason I'm about to show you here. And first thing I did is locate all the properties in Lubbock. Now, Redfin's only going to show you 300 up to 350 at a time. So what I had to do is I had to go through by zip code and search each zip code. But before I do that, I want to show you some things that are not in my buy box. So we're going to get rid of those right off the bat. Right off the bat, let's move this marker down. We don't need anything over $1 million. Uh, that's just not in my buy box. That's not a amount of debt that I'm looking to take on right now. Um, Housing, multifamily, not looking at townhouses, mobile homes, condos, co-ops, or land. Um, and the reason why is most of those things, land, maybe not, but most of those things are going to have an HOA. I'm not looking for anything with an HOA. You might be looking for something in an HOA, suit yourself, not my jam. So on Redfin, you are going to have the opportunity to scroll to the bottom and download a spreadsheet. So you see right here, you're going to be able to download. You can only download 350 at a time. So if your market is bigger than 350, and I hope it is, you'll want to break it up by area code. So you can't get all of Lubbock. What I did is I put in each area code in Lubbock, made sure that it was less than 350, copied or downloaded the spreadsheet, copied the spreadsheet to a master spreadsheet until I had a spreadsheet with every for sale house in all of Lubbock, Texas. And that's what we're looking at here. This is my master spreadsheet with that contains every for sale house in the Lubbock area that is not part of an HOA or one of those other things I filtered out already. Now, Lubbock is still a very large area. So, what I did with this information is I had to turn it into useful data. All right. So ultimately, if you've followed along in my journey thus far, you know that I am looking for cash flow. Appreciation will be nice. That's one of the reasons why I'm in Lubbock. But I am ultimately looking for cash flow or yield on my invested cash. So when you import your spreadsheet from Redfin, you're going to get all the information up to column AA, right? So you're going to get all that information. Most of it is not going to be useful. Um, but I go ahead and import it all just for logistical purposes, so I don't have to go back and delete columns and rearrange things. But after you import that, all of these things, A, B, all of these columns after AA are columns that I have added to make sense of the data that I've imported. So what are the important things that I need to know? Well, column one is going to be the offer price. So the offer price is going to be based on the list price, which is going to be imported. And the offer price right now is set to 100% of the list price. I can go and change that to 90% of the list price to see what makes sense at a 90% offer. But right now we're just doing this example. Offer price is 100% of the list price. Let's see where things are actually at right now. Now, based on the offer price, you can determine the down payment. I have some fields over here that will change the interest rate, the offer price, the percent sale price, um, and the down payment or the percent down. So my down payment right now is set to be 25% of the offer price. Another important thing you're going to need to know is the repair cost. Now, in my buy box, um, I am investing at a distance as a new investor. I am hoping that nothing goes in this repair cost. Now I'm open to a couple things. I can throw on some paint. I can install a refrigerator, things like that. But for now, for the most part, I'm leaving it empty. But you're going to want to know what your repair costs are to know how much money you're putting in. Along with the repair cost, you're going to need to know the closing cost. I'm using 3% of the offer price, and that's going to be cover the cost of lending, as well as other things that you need to cover, title fees and appraisal fees and all that stuff to get the house sold. And then total cash. This is going to be an important number for the number way over here, which is yield. You're going to need to know total cash. Total cash is going to be the down payment plus the repair cost plus the closing cost equals total cash. That's how much cash I'm going to need to come up with to make the deal happen. That's how much money I'm putting in. Now, the other important things you're going to need to know is the interest rate. This is a rate that it's based on a couple days ago when I last talked to the lender. 6.6% is what I should be able to land for myself for an investor loan based on my credit and debt to income ratio and all that stuff. Amortization, that means how long are you going to be paying? I'm running everything as a 30-year mortgage, so amortized over 360 months. If I have 25% down, 75% is going to be financed. That's the amount financed. Based on that, you are going to need to figure out what your mortgage payment is. Now, this is a somewhat of a complicated formula. I'm going to highlight it up here in the corner where equals PMT is what you're going to really need to know. You can look up, however, I'm not going to go through it, but you can look up how to get the formula for determining a mortgage payment. And based on your interest rate, your amortization schedule, and how much you borrowed, it should be able to figure that out. Now, mortgage payment is just one of your expenses. If you stop at mortgage payment, you're going to lose money. You need to know your mortgage payment, insurance, and taxes, these are going to vary depending on where you are and depending on the exact house that you're buying. But I have a general idea for the location, what insurance and taxes should come out to be. I'm using 1% for insurance and 2% for taxes. This first sheet is just to get an idea. This first sheet is not the gospel sheet. This is not what I'm basing my offers on until I've looked at individual properties. But right now I'm getting data on what is going on in the Lubbock market. So taxes, property management, if you're going to manage your own properties, this is not for you. I will not be managing my own properties. So 10% of your rent approximately will go towards property management. Another 10% needs to be set aside for reserves. And this might be more or less depending on your area, depending on how old the house is. But this needs to account for vacancies as well as replacing dishwashers and replacing the roof and HVAC system on occasion. 10% is probably a little bit low, but right now I'm using 10% just to get an idea. So adding up all these negative numbers, these are all expenses. Anything with a negative sign, your mortgage payment, insurance, taxes, property management, and reserves all need to get added together to come up with a big fat negative number. Right next to that negative number is your monthly rent. So this can be tricky. What I've done just to get data is I have created an algorithm that estimates what the rent should be with pretty good accuracy. Now you'll see here, it estimates it at $1,052. I've never seen rent end in a two, but that's because that's what pops out of my algorithm. Chances are that rent is probably $1,000 or $1,100. But I've used an algorithm that works pretty well for this area. If you're curious, my algorithm is $1,000 plus 20 cents per square foot that the house is. This will account for different bedroom sizes, different bathrooms, things like that. And then I subtract $4 per month for every year old that the house is. So if it's 3 years old, it's going to subtract $12 per month. If it's 100 years old, it will subtract $400 per month. That seems to get me pretty close to rents in the area, keeping in mind that there's premiums for different parts of the city. So based on your monthly rent minus your expenses is how you're going to determine your cash flow. That means how much per month is it costing you or is it putting into your bank account? In this first example that we've run through, it looks like my monthly cash flow is estimated to be a negative $215. This is why I run numbers. This is not a house that I want. I don't want a rental property that I have to put $200 into every month. I'm looking for a rental property that I get $200 out of every month. So you take that cash flow number, multiply it by 12, and that is your yearly cash flow. Your yearly cash flow divided by the amount of money that you put in will give you your yield. That'll give you a percentage. What percentage of the money that you put in are you getting back out each year? Now, I you want that I want that number to be a positive. Different people play different games. I'm not looking for houses that I have to put money into each month. So what I've done, imported every house on the market into this master spreadsheet and calculated the yield for every house that marginally meets my criteria in the Lubbock market. And now I'm going to sort by yield. Oh, I'm going to sort by yield. Oh, I've got something else going on here, so we'll have to do that later. But I've already done this on a separate sheet, and it will, when you sort by yield, it'll start to tell you which ones are profitable and which ones are not. So actually, if I scroll up here, you'll probably start to we can probably find some that are profitable. Most of them are not, but here's one at 9% yield. Usually, if it's something like that, it's going to be a fixer-upper, which is not in my buy box. But based on all of that information, what I've done is this data is fantastic, but it doesn't tell you everything. So to narrow down my buy box, I've talked to a lot of different investors. I've talked to a handful of different agents. I've talked to lenders. I've talked to property managers, and I've put together a pretty solid consensus of what parts of town I want to invest in and what parts of town I should probably avoid investing in to avoid tenant drama and things of that nature and crime and just a lot of BS that comes with sometimes renting out properties. I would rather take a lower yield as long as it's profitable. I'd rather take a lower yield than have to deal with a bunch of drama. So what ultimately ends up in my buy box is not all of these. This is far too many properties, right? This is 1,376 properties. That's too big for a buy box. I need to narrow that down dramatically. So what I'm looking for is only properties that are east of University Avenue. This is going to be different in your market. In my market, Lubbock, it is east of University Avenue. Once I've done east of University Avenue, here's actually the one, and we just skip over here. Here is my buy box. Single family homes in Lubbock that are up to 4 units. So I am open to multifamily, but I do want to get conventional lending. Single family homes in Lubbock up to 4 units east of University Avenue that are move-in ready and cash flow at the asking price. So on that other spreadsheet, I organized by yield, get rid of everything that has a negative yield, copy everything that has a positive yield. I've copied it to a second spreadsheet, um, which is, well, I've copied it. Well, I've done multiple copies, but I've copied to this spreadsheet, which is the buy box. And then from there, you got to do a little bit of legwork. So this one's already cleaned up, so it looks pretty good. But the legwork is, you'll see I've kept on the link to Redfin, and that lets me know uh, that is the way that I use to filter out which ones are fixer-uppers. Now remember, my buy box is not fixer-uppers. Your buy box may be fixer-uppers. That's usually the way to get the biggest yield. I am not interested, at least for now, in trying to renovate homes in a different state. So for now, I'm looking for move-in ready homes. That greatly decreased my buy box. And you see here, really what is left is 14 properties. So the green ones are ones that I've already put offers in on. The yellow ones kind of fit my buy box, but are not exactly what fits my buy box. They might be just out of the zone that I'm looking in, or they might be need a little bit of work or something of that nature. But they're things that I still want to look at, but may but don't exactly fit my buy box. So here is my buy box, but I'd like to take it one step further. I've taken the ones out of my buy box that I want to pursue, and I move it to my favorites sheet. Now I keep all this interest rate and percent of sale of list price and percent down, all those formulas. I copy them right over to the new spreadsheet. to build this spreadsheet. And this is my favorites. This is the one that I actually share with my agent. These are the properties that I share with them. If they're in red, my agent has called them and they've been disqualified for some one reason or another. They're in green, that means it's pending offer. This blue one, that means it's gone cold, I guess. It's not cold. I put in an offer, they put in a counter offer. We didn't meet anywhere. I'll circle back to it in a couple weeks and see if my offer has sweetened any with time. And the rest of these are ones that I will be putting offers in on. I hope that tells you a little bit about my buy box, and I hope it helps you build your buy box. I got to get out of here and pick up my kids from school. But do like and subscribe if you like this content and want to join my journey and building a real estate portfolio. I hope you will.